There has always been a confidential ingredient in the Krabby Patty, and its transportation method is extremely strict. There are not only helicopters hovering in the air for surveillance, but also a security team of dozens of people escorting the confidential ingredient. They are fully armed. As SpongeBob walked forward nervously, the security captain in charge of handing over the confidential ingredient solemnly handed the box containing the confidential ingredient to SpongeBob. SpongeBob obtained the confidential ingredient without incident, but when he opened the box, he found it was empty. In order to find the person who stole the confidential ingredient, SpongeBob invited Patrick to solve the case together. Their primary suspect was Plankton, who had always wanted to steal the Krabby Patty recipe. Coincidentally, the two of them saw a Krabby Patty in front of them. SpongeBob even demanded that Plankton confess on this pretext. Plankton explained that this was a delicious Krabby Patty he had invented. Making a delicious Krabby Patty required special ingredients. Plankton found out and made a delicious Krabby Patty with rotten garbage. After some operations by Plankton, SpongeBob and Patrick removed him from the suspect list. Subsequently, the two came to Sandy's house. She was proficient in science, and they thought that only Sandy could analyze and piece together the Krabby Patty recipe. Sure enough, as SpongeBob expected, Sandy had a large number of Krabby Patties hidden in her house. SpongeBob deduced Sandy's actions and motives for the crime. However, it was not until the Krusty Krab invoice was thrown in SpongeBob's face that he realized that these Krabby Patties were all bought by Sandy for the winter. After eliminating Plankton and Sandy, Gary, SpongeBob's pet, became the next suspect. SpongeBob even imagined that Gary was a masked thief. While he was pulling up his socks, Gary shot corrosive acid from his tear gland, melted the suitcase, and stole the confidential ingredient in full view of everyone. But this was obviously impossible. After a series of investigations, the two still couldn't find the culprit who stole the confidential ingredient. Under pressure, SpongeBob told Mr. Krabs about the loss of the confidential ingredient. However, in Mr. Krabs' eyes at this time, SpongeBob was undoubtedly the prime suspect. Mr. Krabs demanded that SpongeBob be arrested. Suddenly, SpongeBob saw the Krabby Patty confidential ingredient in Mr. Krabs' hand. Mr. Krabs wanted to explain something, but all the evidence was already there. Listening to Mr. Krabs' confession, it turned out that Mr. Krabs took the Krabby Patty confidential material himself because of the shipping cost problem. After Mr. Krabs' confession, the just judge sentenced him to the most severe punishment, which was to give away Krabby Patties for free all day long. He could only watch helplessly, and finally Mr.